In this forecast, a pattern change will bring cooler weather and isolated severe weather this weekend. There is extreme fire danger in Montana tomorrow. Hurricane K in the Pacific Ocean may bring huge relief to California soon. And Tropical Storm Earl in the Atlantic Ocean is expected to become a major hurricane. All of that and more is coming right up. Let's first begin with the pattern change that is expected this weekend. Here's a look at the jet stream as of right now. You can see the jet stream is all the way back up in Canada as of right now, but we do have a trough that is currently sitting right back down here in portions of the southeast. Now, what is this doing? Well, it's actually bringing the shower and storm opportunities to areas like the southeast over the next several days before it slowly starts to shift off to the east. We also have a very well dominant high pressure ridge that has been bringing extreme heat to areas like California over the last couple of days, and record highs are being set there because of it. Now, we will start to see some relief, and more on that here in just a moment, but the jet stream will start to take a dip going into this upcoming weekend. It will be a positively tilted trough, so it means that we're not going to see a huge amount of severe weather, but any severe weather that does occur will likely be on the marginal stage or maybe on a low-end slight risk as of right now, and that would primarily be for areas like the Midwest. Now, what does this mean for the temperatures across the United States? Well, as of right now, as mentioned before, we have a trough currently centered back in areas like the southeast and the lower Mississippi Valley. That's going to continue over the next several days. So you can see these light blues. That's representing just about or just below average temperatures as of right now. Now, the big difference and the big story is that we have extreme heat in areas like California, and we're also going to see some pretty significant heat back up in the northern plains over the next couple of days. Now, eventually going into this weekend, cooler air will begin to usher in, especially for areas like the Northwest and as well as even the northern plains. Now, that won't reach everybody. For those that do see it, though, we're going to see probably about a 5 to 10 degree temperature drop. You can eventually see going to the weekend, we'll start to see those cooler temperatures reach maybe as far south as Texas. Now, it won't bring a major cool down to areas like Texas, only like a 5 degree difference, but it will bring a beneficial cool down to areas, even in like the areas like the mid-Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley, mainly due to the fact that little low pressure system will start to shift its way that direction. It's going to weaken over time, but will bring some shower and storm chances as well to areas like the mid-Atlantic. Now for the severe weather chances. Now, there is a marginal threat for areas up in the northern Midwest heading into Thursday, but beyond that, going to like areas like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, will there be any severe weather chances? Well, as of right now, the low-level jet will actually increase a little bit in areas like Wisconsin and maybe even northern Iowa and southeastern Minnesota. That could lead to maybe an isolated tornado potentially heading into either Friday or even Saturday before it starts to kind of weaken back out. Now, going into next week, we'll begin to see the low-level jet increase a little bit more on the mid-Atlantic region. That could potentially as well bring maybe a low-end tornado potential sometime going to next week, but obviously it is too early to forecast anything that crazy. But let's get into the overall storm chances, at least into the Midwest over the next several days. See, going to Friday, we'll have a little cluster of storms most likely develop going to Friday night. That could bring some isolated severe weather, but again, no outbreaks or anything like that are forecasted with this system. Eventually going to Saturday, we'll start to see more shower and storm activity on go, and you can still see even going into late Saturday night into Sunday morning, still some storm activity ongoing, anywhere from, again, Kansas and even maybe Oklahoma, all the way back up through areas like the Midwest and the Michigan. Eventually going to Monday, that shower and storm activity will, for the most part, begin to shift off to the east before it starts to get into areas like the mid-Atlantic region, which, as I mentioned before, maybe a very low-end tornado potential next week, but beyond that, again, severe weather is going to be remaining at least pretty marginal at this point, at least throughout next week as well. Now, before diving into the California relief and as well as the tropics, I did want to bring up that there is an extreme fire danger in northern Montana tomorrow. That would include Great Falls. If you know anybody in this region, make sure they're giving them a little bit of awareness, because obviously it's a very dangerous situation. There will be high winds, very low relative humidity, and very hot temperatures that can all equivalent to wildfires spreading very quickly. So make sure you're taking those proper precautions if you're in this region. Now let's take a look at the tropics, beginning with Hurricane K. This is actually in the Pacific Ocean. Now, why am I mentioning this? This system is actually forecasted to bring some pretty beneficial relief to areas like California. As you may know, temperatures have been getting record set up there in California with 110, 115 degree temperatures. This system, though, is expected to bring some relief to that region. As of right now, it is a Category 1 hurricane, sustained winds around 85 miles per hour. It is moving off to the northwest, and as the days go on, we're eventually going to see this get pretty close to California. It will not make a direct impact to California, but with this system, we're going to see some cooler air and more moist air begin to filter into areas areas like southern and central California. What that will do is hopefully bring temperatures down a little bit, and as well as maybe even bring those rain chances up, especially for southern California. As of right now, again, it's not forecasted to make a direct impact to California. It is likely going to go out to sea, so it probably will not impact California, but it will impact areas just to the south of there in Mexico. And here's a look at Tropical Storm Earl. As of right now, it has sustained winds at 70 miles per hour. It is forecasted to become at least a Category 1 hurricane no later than tomorrow, and it will likely become our first major hurricane of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. As of right now, there is still a lot of convection with this system. You can see there is a bit of a circulation as well. It's not the most pronounced, but it is becoming more developed and more organized as this system moves off to the north. As of right now, the National Hurricane Center does say that it's probably going to be a major hurricane most likely late Thursday or early Friday as it gets close to Bermuda. So Bermuda is actually currently under a hurricane watch. So this will be an area to watch for very closely as it moves off to the north and northeast. And also Hurricane Danielle is still ongoing. It is beginning to weaken. It will likely go down to a tropical storm over the next 24 hours. It is moving off to the east, and here's the crazy track that it has as of right now. It is forecasted to become subtropical around Thursday. It will eventually take a little bit of a turn and eventually most likely go to the east, which might actually impact areas like Spain. So this might be an area to watch as well going into potentially this upcoming weekend. Make sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe if you've not already. This forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting and All Dense Repair.